Bro, are you ready?
Okay, I'm freaking ready. Oh man, what a wild week it has been. But I think we're ready to talk about the thing we said we'd talk about 3 months ago. Or was it 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Oh no, it was a month ago.
It was a month ago.
Man, it feels like forever since then. Like nothing that's come out in cinema has mattered since then. Besides, Detective Pikachu, I guess.
Detective Pikachu. Wait, are you saying Detective Pikachu mattered?
Yeah, it did. I loved it. Well,
Okay,
to me
fine.
it mattered.
Okay,
to me
fine.
it mattered.
And maybe we'll do Detective Pikachu.
No. It's okay. We don't have to, but I think we have to tell our audience what we're up to.
Oh man.
So, hi guys. Welcome to another podcast with me, Lance, and
Toby.
And we are
The Downtime Dudes. Always on point.
Exactly. And and we started the session with a high five again because we do that.
No, that's our thing.
Yeah, that's our thing. So, what do we have? Do you want to talk about the thing we're going to talk about first, or should we talk about events first?
Wow. Okay, maybe we can do events first so that people don't need to wait until.
That's true.
And
Advertisements should be at the start. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Downtime Dudes sponsored by, co-presented by.
That's true. So
I wish.
yeah, so we're gonna be doing something that is really close to my heart.
Yeah.
We have an event coming up this weekend, July 6th, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at fully booked Bonifacio High Street. Dudes versus Cancer.
Oh, yes. High
Yes.
five.
It is.
Okay, so hi Lance. What is Dudes versus Cancer?
Well, hi Toby. So Dudes vs. Cancer is a Dungeons and Dragons Adventurers League event that was created in order to raise money for our friend Neil Namoro, who
Neil.
Sorry.
Hey Neil.
Hi Neil, who currently who's diagnosed with cancer recently and needs some help paying for the treatment. So the response to Dudes vs. Cancer has been overwhelming.
Dude, we're full.
We are full. We're just waiting to see if a few people don't pay up, or before we move some people from wait list. Before we cut them. Right.
Guys, please, if you're listening to this, and there's no reason why you would, but if you are, friggin' pay so that we can finish completing your registration and we don't have to cut you from the table list.
And the reason we can sound so douchey is because we are doing this for charity.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's so high and mighty.
Yes,
do it. It's for charity.
We are speaking from the high horse.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so
Yeah.
why are you excited for Dudes vs. Cancer? Why aren't you? It's 6 DMs. They're all running mods that I guess are pretty close to all of our hearts.
Well, yeah, they're also all related to disease.
Oh, man, I wanted to get there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know.
So
Cut the wrong cue. Okay.
will be you can pay for rerolls.
Yeah, so we're just waiting to see if Wizards of the Coast will allow us to use rerolls for Adventurers League rules.
Right.
If not, then we're gonna offer paid rerolls for Inspiration,
Yeah, that works.
which technically is allowed.
So you'll have rerolls. We'll have people there. I think they'll be selling goodies for charity.
We will have raffle prizes.
We will have raffle prizes. Do you want to talk about the raffle prizes?
Do we commit on it now?
No.
'Cause we were-
At least like somebody listening to the podcast has a slight edge.
Okay, fine. We will. You want to talk about this? It was your idea, actually.
Oh yeah, man. Okay. We're thinking about having some raffles just because we think it'd be nice to sort of stimulate the community by giving out free stuff. And hey, you're partnered with Fully Booked, and that's not bad. And
No, we're not partnered. They're a venue sponsor.
they're a venue sponsor.
Sorry, we have to be legalistic about this stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So
Go.
we're thinking of giving away some D&D stuff, and I say that because we haven't decided.
We're still arguing about it. Actually, if you want to put it in the comments later, would you rather get
A player's handbook.
or a starter kit?
There are arguments for both.
I'm sure there is, but you know, I think that since Toby and I are divided on this, we want your help in deciding. If you if you want to join Dudes vs. Cancer, or if you're already signed up, what do you think would make for a better price? We are giving out dice too, by the way.
The dice is a given,
Yep.
but we are not giving away cancer.
I would be super against this fuckery if we are.
No, okay. Jokes aside, please come by, even if you aren't registered. We'd love to have you there. You can meet the community, and we're going to have donations on site. So even if for some reason you can't pay through GoFundMe, you can support Neil by attending and just pitching in what you can. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, let's also include the GoFundMe link to the announcement, to the release of this episode.
Yeah, man. Like in everything. We're putting it in everything.
Everything.
I think right now it's tiny URL CC help Neil fight.
Well, it changes every time we make a new tiny URL, so...
I know.
Well, let's do it. Okay, fine.
We'll work on it, guys.
Yeah, so speaking of...
Other stuff.
Yeah, we marketed Dudes vs. Cancer as the fight of the century, but we have to talk about the other fight of, I think, the decade. Oh, yeah.
You're saying decade? Well, it's a
10-year effort.
It is a 10-year effort.
Yeah, it's a 10-year...
And I don't think it can be repeated in the century, so I'll call it the fight of the century.
Fine. We'll talk about the actual fight of the century in terms of cinema.
The most ambitious cinematic and the ending to our most beloved massive cankled unicorns universe.
What?
Yeah. Oh man, if you caught that reference, thank you for watching How It Should Have Ended videos.
Cankle universe?
No, he calls it the massively cankled unicorns. MCU.
Oh.
Endgame. Endgame is our episode.
I'm really slow today. But
oh man.
Yeah. So why Toby, maybe you should tell them why we thought this would be relevant a month after it came out.
Yo dude, well, one, Endgame's coming out again. So
it came out.
It came out again.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen the re-release. And we can speculate in this episode or give some... I mean, it's been leaked already on what's extra, and apparently it's not very impressive.
I mean, okay, honestly, it's a cash grab, and they're just trying to beat Avatar, a movie that people don't really remember anymore.
And people will still come. People are still gonna go to it.
Yeah. We didn't go, though, but you're right. yeah, you're right. We should...
Did it come out here?
Let me Google that.
Alright, so while he is Googling, we're also doing this episode because Spider-Man Away From Home is coming out in about 4 days, and we're hyped. We're pretty hyped.
Yep. Oh man, it's coming out this weekend. We have an event to run, and Spider-Man's coming out.
Spider-Man's coming out. I know nobody from my work is going to be listening to this, so you guys aren't going to care if I say I'm already advancing a vacation leave on Friday. Because there's just so much to do this weekend. There's just so much.
There's too much goddamn shit to do, for sure.
What's that?
April? No.
No.
Where's there's no re-release date in the Philippines. Or...
Is there?
ABS,
we're hoping...
.com.
So I have some things to say about the re-release.
It's in North America.
I bet. No, it's not coming out here.
Guess not.
We'll just have to wait till some YouTube video comes out of the end credits stuff.
I'm sure it's somewhere out there already. We just haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But it's apparently a scene about the Hulk saving civilians. That's an unfinished scene.
Right.
There's a Stan Lee tribute.
There has to, of course.
And there's a director's cut about some dude saying that there's going to be more end credit stuff. And a scene from Far From Home, which comes out a week after they re-released it. So cash grab is obvious cash grab.
Yeah, no. And honestly, if I could visit the re-release for a little bit, I think it is an experiment in reaction to the way we consume movies now. Because usually if you had a director's cut, if you had like some bonus features, all of that would be like in some Blu-ray or DVD.
True.
But nobody does that anymore.
True.
So this might be the first time we're seeing a re-release happen of extra stuff straight to cinema. Because otherwise nobody would ever see it.
That's true. But
what do you think?
I think
it's
a good
grab 2020?
Definitely. I think they're just trying to go for the box office record because they didn't beat James Cameron's Avatar. And I think that's really sad. I don't remember anything about Avatar. I can't name any character. I can't quote any line from it.
Dude, Jake. That's all I know.
and that evokes so many feelings in me. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be a sci-fi IMAX experience. It was the first movie I remember that I watched in IMAX.
Oh, interesting. I never actually. My first IMAX movie was Captain Marvel with you.
Seriously?
Yeah, I never because it was expensive. I didn't want to pay extra for a movie.
Guys, it's worth it. Pay for IMAX.
For me, it's all right. I mean, I'm a cheapo. So
Okay, so
apologies.
now that it's been about 10 minutes into the podcast,
You're
do you
right.
want to get into Endgame?
It's been a month and that movie's
This
still
is
amazing.
spoiler review, guys. Straight spoiler review. I don't think Endgame is on Netflix yet,
No.
but it's on Google Movies.
Yeah, the Russo brothers have lifted the ban about a month ago. I think we're allowed to talk about it now.
All right, let's talk about it.
Okay. Holy shit, though.
That's the right answer. Okay, wait. So, if you were excited for Endgame and you watched Infinity War, where did we leave off? The snap.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So-
Half the people disappeared. I think the core team was the only one that was left.
Yeah, the core team plus Rocket.
Nobody from the core team disappeared. Just
Nope.
Rocket.
No, because at that point you knew that this is where the core team's story arcs needed to finish.
Right.
Or at least transform. And do you think it's better for us to go for the whole movie, or should we go character by character?
I think this is a character by character thing. And how do you want to go?
Let's go character by character then.
How do you want to start? I think we both know where we have to end.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
This is Thor. He seems to be most casual one.
All right, so I had a problem with what they did with Thor.
Yeah, you do?
honestly. I do
But
because
you look more like him than I do.
I do. You're right. Okay. So I don't think that because I can now cosplay as Thor, it's worth that. No, okay, finally cosplay as Thor. I have an accurate Chris Hemsworth Thor, and
Dude,
no one can
that's
say
solid,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, Toby, you have to work on your body to get the Thor levels.
Shit,
again.
I do.
Sorry you go to the gym so much. No, but so Thor's was interesting because I watched a Wisecrack video that gave me this impression of how Thor's story arcs from the first movie until now have been cyclical, much like their counterparts in Norse mythology.
Uh-huh.
So it's always Thor's doing great, and then he fucks up, and then shit happens, and he's sad. And then he goes great, and he fucks up, and then shit happens.
And then he learns to cope, and he realizes
Yeah.
that he's not a god.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
Yeah, at the end of each of his movies, he ends on a good note, but
Yeah.
starts the next movie sad.
I don't. Was he sad
Every
in
movie.
Ragnarok? I'm trying to remember. He seemed alright.
He started out in well, he started out in a rut because maybe he didn't start sad, but he eventually got Mjolnir destroyed. He became a slave.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
So I mean that kind of is a thing.
Okay.
And I think Endgame is his story arc naturally is him dealing with the fact that he's constantly on this back and forth, and now he's depressed because he's confronting that. He had to confront that failure. Like he'd never failed on such a scale before.
Yeah, man.
But I also didn't. But for the record, just to get out of the way, because I want to talk about story beats more.
Yeah.
I didn't like how they played this PTSD and depression for laughs. When they did it with Iron Man, it was always like in a very solemn and respectful manner.
You mean Iron Man 3, right?
Yeah, like he was really flipping out, and you could really feel for the guy. But with Thor, it's like, haha, he's fat and depressed now, and like I just don't think that's the best way to have tackled it.
I think it was played for laughs, but the more they did it, the more you realize how real and how you could empathize with it. Just because,
Yeah.
like, when it stopped being funny and went to, oh shit, this is really bad.
No, but at what point maybe for the audience, yes, but in the movie, they never depicted it as anything less than funny.
Well, it wasn't funny for the people who, and I think this is like an important part, where it wasn't funny for the Guardians. Primarily Valkyrie, right? She never made fun of it because she saw the A to B. Everybody else just, oh shit.
Actually, it was just Iron Man who really kind of,
Hey,
made
Big
fun of
Lebowski.
him. Yeah, with the Big Lebowski comment. But the audience was laughing at him.
Yeah, because they did it, gotta say, the effects on the tummy
Yep.
they're amazing. Like he looks
I know.
big.
Yeah, I mean, I laughed too,
Uh-huh.
but it was after that when we were talking about doing a review that I'm like,
Damn.
that wasn't supposed. That was just weird for me. Now,
Yeah.
it's weird, but I think Thor's story arc is good because it ended with him realizing he didn't want the life he had been building up to his whole life.
The life he was born for.
He was groomed for,
and
yeah.
bred for, right?
Yes. So he was always this Asgardian prince who's going to be super awesome and rule the 9 kingdoms and stuff. And this is the first movie in which he actually relinquishes the role.
Yeah.
In every movie, he has taken steps toward that goal. And in Ragnarok, he gets it.
Yeah.
Even going so far as to get his eye removed and become like Odin.
Yeah.
And due to the cyclical nature of his story, his eye is restored. He gets a hammer back, like after saying he doesn't need a hammer. Everything for Thor is cyclical. And I actually feel like this is more of an homage to Dark Reign in the Marvel story arc where Loki makes a pact with Mephisto in order to break out of the cyclical nature of Ragnarok.
Uh-huh.
I feel like this is Thor leaving that cycle by joining the Guardians and like actually giving up his initial what he thought was his dream.
Yeah, and getting there is a joyride. We'll get into how he meets his mom, but like it takes meeting his mom, somebody who even after Thor 2, like Ragnarok, Infinity War, we know how much Thor's family means to him.
Yeah.
And I think she's the one whose death you felt the most. I mean, when Odin died, it's just like, okay.
It's like, I'm old, I feel like dying.
Yeah.
He just poofed out.
Like, poofed out.
By the way, you have a sister.
Yeah.
And she's crazy. And powerful.
And powerful.
Yeah.
My real firstborn. That was crazy.
That was wild.
But the mom was the one who was taken not in her time.
Yes.
And it was kind of Thor and Loki's fault.
Yeah. If they, didn't spend so much time dicking around and fighting each other, they could have actually done something.
Exactly. So that's the one I feel like he felt the most for. And when he got reunited with her, it wasn't played for laughs. I mean, some of it is like you're kind of big now, eat a salad. But when they talk, that was the most real moment. Is it the most real moment in the movie? It's the most real moment for Thor.
Well, Thor always gets depressed, and he kind of hit a slump this time. But it was his moment for him to realize that even if I had failed, it doesn't stop me from being a hero.
And that's the moment where he reaches out in that classic stance.
Yeah.
And calls back Mjolnir to his hand.
But I also disagree with that scene. Like, I disagree with how it was handled.
Yeah?
I don't think someone should be worthy because they feel like they're worthy. Or they should be worthy after playing Fortnite for 5 years and drinking beer for 5 years. Because in the first movie, it took an entire story arc for him to earn that.
Yeah.
And then in the third movie, he's like, oh, I guess I don't need the hammer anymore. And I get the whole cyclical thing, but
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been worthy. The hammer has always represented power and authority. And if you...
And the worthiness to carry it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that depressed people have no value. That's
Yeah.
far from it. But not everyone's always in the right mental state to exert power and authority. People need to heal. He needs to deal with his shit.
I feel like the decision to deal with the shit is what made him worthy there.
To confront it.
Yeah. Because the whole time was just running away from it.
Yeah, but it's like he just snapped his fingers and he did it. Like, I feel like they made it too easy to come out of depression. Like, I don't think they depicted mental illness the way I would have wanted them to.
Definitely short on that end. But story-wise, if it's somebody who the right thing was said to him by the right person, and then he made the decision, and boom, he was worthy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it cheapens it.
Do you feel unsatisfied with that?
Super.
With that part of his character arc?
I feel unsatisfied with that part of his character arc. I think it cheapened what it meant to be worthy of Mjolnir.
Yeah, okay, I can get there.
Because I also think that it takes a lot more than just the right person telling you the right thing to suddenly be like, I'm better now. I don't think that's how it works.
Maybe. But Thor has been a shit person at times, even in the MCU, and Mjolnir is still... It comes and goes.
Yeah, but his worthiness Oh man, so worthiness is such an interesting concept because it's undefined god bullshit.
Yeah, whoever the DM is like, I guess you can carry it. It attunes to you.
Yeah, so I think we want to separate the comic Thor with the movie Thor.
Yeah, maybe.
Because worthiness is different. There was a time when Odin was not worthy to lift the hammer in the comics.
Yeah.
Because the hammer had its own sentience.
No, it's
and
an
stuff.
interesting character, writer mechanic that they can put some arbitrary value on.
True.
But Thor becoming worthy then, you could argue we had no way of finding out if he became worthy because there wasn't any Mjolnir to test him prior to that point.
Yeah.
But his statement wasn't, I am now worthy, it's, I'm still worthy. Which is, I feel, the most powerful thing. The more powerful thing, rather. Where even in depression, because of his want to do good for his family and Asgard in general, it's just like, oh yeah, shit, I'm still worthy. Despite the failure, despite failing to kill Thanos.
I thought it had to be earned again. I don't believe in these super quick solutions for something that's so supposedly like God powers over lightning. I just want it because self-doubt is something that doesn't make you, I mean, that much self-doubt at least.
Okay.
It stops you from being worthy. It's why he was made unworthy in the comic. Oh fuck! It's different from MCU.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but
you gotta differentiate. Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't like it. I felt it was so cheap, and I hated it actually. I hated it in a movie that I loved, in my favorite character in Marvel. I disliked it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pick another core MCU member. I think one of the more interesting ones was Hawkeye.
All right, you want to start?
Yeah, the movie starts with Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And dude, it's insane. You're wondering, where was Hawkeye in Infinity War? They show you.
Yeah.
They show you, and it's sad.
It is.
And it depicted a scene of him at a picnic with his family, and at one moment, they're having fun, and then the next, they're snapped away. And as odds would have it, he was the only one left.
Yes. And that began his journey on taking it out in the Japanese.
And you gotta imagine that the same scene happened everywhere.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it grounds it because like an unnamed immeasurable number of people dying, like you can't really put up value on that in the movie.
And it makes sense that they to put up that point of view. They had to get the most normie person in the Avengers.
No, exactly. And show how far it took him.
Yeah.
So 5 years after that, he becomes Ronin.
Yep.
And they hyped up Ronin for this movie. Like, they showed Jeremy Renner in the costume, new haircut. What's up with the haircut?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely regressed a bit.
He's like, I'm Ronin now. Give me this sick fade.
But also, I don't think they really did much with Ronin.
No, they did that.
They showed him.
They barely said. They didn't say Ronin.
They never said Ronin, and they showed the costume. But all he did was do samurai sword fighting in Japan, and then after that, it was just Hawkeye all over again.
It was Hawkeye all over again,
right?
But let's get there. So they make an allusion to an idea where he's doing the same thing he used to do before he was in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Where he was just killing people left and right.
Okay, yeah, it's true.
And it took Black Widow coming to see him to sort of pull him back from the darkness. And that was his whole arc. His whole arc is getting back what was taken from him.
Definitely. And I think that you can't really talk about Hawkeye without talking about Black Widow. Because Black Widow... We should probably talk about them both at this point because this isn't the first time in the MCU that Hawkeye turned rogue and then Black Widow had to pull him out of it, right?
Yeah,
in the original Avengers movie, Loki mind-fucked him.
And then for majority of the movie, he was on the quote-unquote bad team.
Can you imagine if Loki did it to one of the more powerful Avengers?
He tried on Iron Man.
He tried, yeah.
And then one of the best scenes in the movie happened after that.
That's true.
You're right. It does happen quite often to Clint Barton, and then they tried to do it in Age of Ultron, and he's the one time they had a mind whammy character in Wanda. He was like, mind control. I've been there. Not a fan.
Yeah. and she took the Hulk, and that was a different story altogether. But okay, so the story of Hawkeye is always intertwined with
Black Widow. There's many allusions to something happening in.
Yeah.
Was it? I want to say Bangladesh.
Yeah, they're platonic buds. They're the most platonic buddies ever.
It's Aunt Nat, and it's great.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about the plot before we get here?
Plot of
Because
what?
I'm going to go into Vormir already.
We can go to Vormir already.
Okay, so basically, this whole movie is about time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not time travel like Back to the Future, but they make a joke about it. They have to go back in time because Thanos snapped the stones away.
Yeah.
And they go on this time heist because they find out that Ant-Man can... Time works differently in the quantum realm, and there were a lot of fan theories that they were going to do time travel, the suits are going to be made for time travel, but holy shit, they did not see this coming.
Yeah. I think that the overarching theme for Endgame as a movie is the idea that... Okay, this is going meta already.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's how Endgame is a movie that's a product of 20 something, like how many movies? 22 other Marvel movies, okay? And there's this the time travel theme is consistent with Endgame because it's a movie about how in order to move forward, the key lies in the past. And Endgame is fantastic not because of where it's going or where it is. It's not only fantastic because of those things, but also because of its storied history which it draws from. So time travel is a very strong parallel for the thesis that Endgame is pushing. That to move forward, you must find strength in the things that happened to you in the past.
Dude, it's a celebration of 22 movies, 10 years of work. It's a celebration of what these actors and movie makers accomplished in this time.
Yeah, but let's go back to Vormir though.
Okay,
we kind of jumped a bit.
Yeah. And that's we'll go into what we think about the movie as a whole in a bit. So, they need to go back in time to reacquire the Soul Stone. Yeah. And acquiring the Soul Stone, as we discovered in Infinity War, is not an easy task. It required...
I think all of them were difficult.
This one requires literally jumping off a cliff.
That's true.
And killing someone.
Yep.
So they go to Vormir, and the team assigned to go to Vormir is the pair of Black Widow and Hawkeye. And I don't think any other team would have worked for that.
None of the other teams would have built the same tension.
Yeah. The Soul Stone works differently in the comics. I don't believe they have to throw people off. Nope. Like in Infinity War, the comic series, they didn't kill anybody for it.
Yeah, because in Infinity War, the stone, it started with Thanos with the stones already.
Right.
He had already acquired them all.
And like the whole Adam Warlock thing, that's totally absent from this.
Yeah, and I think the sad thing is if any of the other Avengers had joined, like let's say the Hulk would have wanted to kill himself.
Yeah, no. Nobody knew how to get the Soul Stone. Nobody knew how Thanos got it.
It kind of sucks that freaking, what's her name? The blue one, Nebula left out that detail about how to get the Soul Stone.
Like, shit, here's two friends I'm watching go to Vormir. Okay, bye guys.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I thought you knew. Like, oh my god, it got really bad there.
So they get there, they meet Red Skull, it's explained to them how to get it, and it turns into the most heart-wrenching scene of two friends who you've known for a long time. Like, Black Widow has had more movies in the MCU than Captain America because she was in Iron Man 2. This is legit.
Really?
Yes.
Count. Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2, Avengers, Age of Ultron.
Okay.
And then after Age of Ultron, you have Civil War. Sorry, not Civil War, Winter Soldier.
Alright, how about this? What movies was Captain America in that Black Widow was not in? First Avenger. It's one. Black Widow was an Iron Man. Don't they have the same number of movies?
Iron Man 2. No.
What's the one? What other movies? Because I think they're tied.
Are they tied?
Because there was a whole Captain America movie without Black Widow in it.
What? No.
First Avenger. The first Captain America movie.
I get you.
Yeah.
So are they tied?
I think they're tied.
Well, then it's the same.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Crap, I know this, but we'll get back to that. Point is, you have the same amount of investment in this character as Cap.
She has. I think she wasn't developed as much. She was more of a perspective or a sideline character until they decided to make a movie out with her. But okay, I'm not as invested, but you can be.
But like, here's the. I'll get into that in a bit.
Sure.
So what happens is, just like Nebula, Black Widow sacrifices herself to get the Soul Stone.
Okay.
And this is why this is amazing.
Why do you mean just like Nebula?
Sorry, just like... Sorry.
Gamora didn't sacrifice herself.
Just like Gamora, she had to die in order to get the Soul Stone.
Yes.
And we're shown that this is not a reversible process.
Yeah.
Okay. So when she dies, it's amazing because that is the end of her arc. Well, malamang, because she died. But she dies, it's the end of her arc. Where did she start? She started as a spy.
Okay.
Moves on to meet a family in the Avengers. Through the Avengers storyline of movies. In Infinity War, practically Endgame, once that family gets torn apart, mostly by the Civil War, but also in the Snap, she's the last one keeping it going.
Yes. Yeah, she really showed her chops there. Like, she was the leader of the free world at that point.
Pretty much. And her sacrificing herself to get everything back to the way it was showed how much she had grown to care about her adoptive family in the Avengers.
I have a weird question, though.
What's up?
I know that Hawkeye didn't want to lose Nat because he lost his own family.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if the insight had been given to him that they could bring his family back. I wonder if he would have been just as keen on sacrificing himself.
Interesting. No, they both tried. But it just turned out that Black Widow was the more badass spy of the two. They both tried. They went into combat over it.
She's the one whose story arc was more or less done.
Yeah. But I have no idea where they're going to take Hawkeye from here.
There is a new series coming out where Hawkeye is going to be training a young woman. So I think he's going to see a lot of Nat in her.
Kate Bishop?
Kate Bishop.
We're doing Kate Bishop?
They're making a series on Kate Bishop, which is gonna be super exciting. But I think Black Widow's death is going to be a shadow over that partnership.
Dude, that was so cool. Okay, so that's mostly them. That's the two of them.
With Hawkeye, I think what they could do that's interesting with him is what happens when the person who's always there to pull you out of the dark is no longer there.
Yeah.
Isn't that really messed up? Like, he has to move on without her. But, he has his family back now, but
yeah, man.
The darkness is there. He's been mind controlled way too many times.
Then we're going to see more of a post-snap world in
Homecoming.
Far
from home.
Far from home. We get a slight perspective on a post-snap world in Endgame, but I gotta admit it's not a lot.
Yeah, like, can you imagine if your high school was closed for 5 years, you and your batchmates would be 5 years apart now.
Yeah.
You'd be 5 years older than your batchmates.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
It gets pretty messed up in a lot of places. So, moving from Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Oh,
Hulk is amazing.
Sorry, can we do one last thing?
What's up?
The one thing they never explored with Black Widow that I wish they did was that she was worthy to lift Mjolnir. It is actually the biggest thing I was waiting for in Age of Ultron, for her to try and lift the hammer. But she didn't, which teased that she kind of would. She kind of teases the fans that she would be worthy.
There is a great YouTube video from Nando V Movies called One Marvelous Scene, where he breaks down that after party.
Oh, I watched that. That was
It
good.
was super good.
It was a fun. Yeah, it basically. Yeah, the one marvelous moment thing was a cool project for
Yeah,
a lot of
man.
people.
Guys, watch that movie. We recommend. Sorry, watch that video. We recommend it. Anyway,
Yeah.
so, anything else for?
No, I just feel like they didn't do her as much justice as I
No,
wanted
they
to.
didn't, because this is somebody who we're as tied to as like Iron Man and stuff.
Oh man, going character by character, I'm suddenly feeling less hyped about Endgame because I realized, damn, like I wish they did more. They even have a movie coming out for her. Maybe that'll be something. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a movie coming out for it. That's fair.
Yeah.
So maybe there is a part of that story that they know we have yet to see.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot. The Red Room, like a lot of the stuff that Nat did was not intentional. She was kind of brainwashed into it. So she and Hawkeye have some serious parallels about it. Okay, so sorry, you want to move on to Hulk?
Yeah,
let's
Hulk
go to Hulk.
is one of the more fun things about this movie.
They missed out on the chance to show all that development. I don't know why I have so many bad things to say today.
No,
Like,
because there's a 5-year gap.
yeah, in the 5-year gap, he fixed his rage, his anger issues. We didn't see that transition. Like it's like, oh nope, now it's this.
Yeah, so where do we leave off? Bruce Banner in Infinity War has problems with the Hulk in that he can't transform.
Yes, he has
Performance issues.
performance issues. Yeah.
Because the Hulk doesn't want to come out for
Yeah.
some reason, and it's never explained.
Yep.
They never explain why. And like in Ragnarok, in the Infinity War, you approach this idea where Banner and Hulk are two different personalities.
Yep.
I think it was first in Ragnarok where it was like, oh my god, Hulk has a whole psyche to himself,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Where he refers to Banner as Banner.
Yeah.
And then they just scrapped that in Endgame.
Yeah, but I think it has a lot to do with how people actually deal with some of the things they don't like about themselves. Like sometimes, oh, that wasn't me. That was like angry Lance. You know, that wasn't like I don't know.
So-
That's not like let's just say Brad. I don't know a Brad, but no, that's not Brad. It was drunk Brad who did that. Like how people usually disassociate themselves with the parts of that they didn't like.
Yeah, so that they can run away from the blame.
Yeah, that's one. And I think that what Hulk did in this case was allow himself to feel that anger.
Yeah, and he took ownership over his actions as the Hulk. Because
Yeah.
dude, that's
And-
amazing.
And now he's this super weirdly chill dude.
Super chill YouTube, Instagram influencer.
Is he?
No, like he's kind of just like that, has that mood about
Jolly
him.
Green Giant for sure, yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, so basically he's always the Hulk now, but his brain,
Yeah, he's always Banner.
he's
too.
always Banner. He's still smart. He eats like what looks like 30,000 calories a day from his breakfast alone. We get
Oh,
a fun
man.
scene of him in a diner
Yeah.
where you meet him, and it's played for absolute laughs when he meets
Some groupies.
pre Endgame Hulk in New York. He's
Yeah.
just like, oh my god.
But I think it's true. Like a lot of people who used to do stuff or go through a phase aren't really proud of the stuff that they did in the past.
I loved it so much though.
It was fun. It was hilarious.
It was the best. And then when they did stuff with the Hulk in that timeline, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Hulk was basically there also to explain what time travel was or what the rules were, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he basically had the script, that thing, and what I think it was an interesting. He had two major moments in Endgame.
Yeah.
The first being when he had to deal with the what do you call Doctor Strange's master again?
Doctor Strange Master. Oh, the ancient one.
The ancient one. When he had to take he had to bargain the time stone from the ancient one.
Yeah, he came to bargain.
Yeah, and when he did the initial snap to save the rest of the population, the 50% that was wiped out.
Yeah,
Those
that
were, I
was
think,
sick.
were two defining moments. So let's talk about the ancient one first, right?
I think there's also an extra thing here where it's constantly shown that Banner is a smart guy,
Yeah.
but he's not the smartest, in that he got shown up by Shuri in Infinity War, and then in Endgame he couldn't figure out time travel, and Iron Man's like, yeah, I got that.
That's true. Yeah, Banner has always been... Well, he is more of a gamma radiations guy.
Yeah.
That's his specialty. It's not... It's definitely going to be different from Iron Man and Shuri's like field. Although Shuri is interesting, and I wonder what they're going to say is her specialty. It's very weird for me to see like this person is a smart person and is super intelligent and is suddenly good at everything.
There's like a soft ranking of smartness in the MCU.
Yeah, Reed Richards is... Oh, no, he's not there yet. But I feel like it would have been more interesting if they had specializations. Rather than, I'm smart, I became a nuclear physicist yesterday. Like... yeah.
No, but apparently he was the key to making Vision. But even that he kind of got wrong. Anyway.
Ish.
So there's that. So the first thing with the Ancient One is he needs to get the freaking Time Stone. Because it was in New York during the Battle of New York.
Yes.
And they show very briefly that, in fact, the Ancient One was kicking ass when Chitauri invaded New York.
Yep.
They just, didn't see it at the time.
Yeah. So the Ancient One knew what was going to happen in the future. So she has a certain...
No, she has foresight up until the moment she dies. Even in Doctor Strange, that's a thing. But she says, I can't see past my death.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting.
Which is why she knows that Doctor Strange will become the next Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
But everything after that, she doesn't know. Which is why when he asks about Doctor Strange, she's like, oh, he's in an operating room like 9 blocks that way.
Yeah.
But the moment the Hulk says, but Doctor Strange gave up the stone, she's like, oh. And apparently her foreshadowed trust in Strange is so high. Yeah. He says that one bit and he's like, take the stone.
Yeah. He pointed out the one thing that would make her doubt herself.
Or the one thing she has absolute trust in. Which is Strange.
Okay. That's an interesting way to put it. I just feel like what he did was really smart in that it's like...
And you know what? I feel like it's actually in that scene where they explain the whole time travel bit.
Yeah, that's exactly why it was great that the Hulk did that.
They had a PowerPoint.
Yeah, they had a weird ass magical PowerPoint for that, which I think was freaking awesome.
Yeah, man. So how it works is that nothing you do in the past is going to affect the present.
Yeah.
It can only affect your progressively moving future.
Yeah.
But taking a stone and not putting it back would mean that another timeline would be created.
Yep.
Because apparently the stones are required to retain the sanctity of the time-space continuum.
Yeah.
That's what I got from them.
True. No, yeah, that is the rule that he said.
And the solution apparently from Banner was that if you return a stone in the exact moment it was taken, then it should be fine. Which I think is fair, but is kind of like more time travel shenanigans to explain time travel shenanigans.
Okay. What I think is good about what they did with the Hulk's arc, which I think isn't done yet, which is why he's still there.
Yeah.
Is that in this movie, although he's merged with the Hulk, he never really had to do... he needed to be both Banner and the Hulk to do everything he needed to do. He needed to be smart enough to... not outwit, but to convince the Ancient One. He needed to be strong enough to survive the snap as the Hulk. He needed both Banner and the Hulk to be one person
to work. And because the snapping is a mental thing as much as it is a physical thing, you couldn't just switch to the Hulk and snap because he might wish for whatever, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love the fact that stopping yourself from disassociating with maybe sides of yourself that you won't accept
was both a character arc thing that was amazing for the character.
Yeah.
And 2, made sense for where that character had to be in the story.
Yeah. It's also a message to the audience that if you want to be the best person you can be, you have to accept all of you.
Man.
Right?
Isn't that the whole ethos of this movie?
No. Thanos was wrong. Thanos was a dick.
Thanos was a dick. No, it's about accepting every part of you, even the bits. Like, for example, if we can cut. Oh shoot! Man, I segued into Iron Man. We're not going there yet. We're not going there yet. Okay. What do you want to do next?
Well, I don't think we're done with Hulk yet.
Okay.
Just real quick. Thanos snapped 50% of the universe, right?
Oh wait, yeah.
And the only character I can think of that represents that duality really well is the Hulk. He is two people in one body.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a certain wholeness he felt by accepting that, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that it was great to show that the Hulk and Banner. Banner's personal life has always been destructive. The Hulk's life has always been destructive. It's only when he puts the two halves into the whole that he becomes a force for creation, which is like restoring 50% of the population.
You know, I never saw it that way, and that's amazing.
Yeah, I think his arc is good. I can't wait to see what they do with him next. But, you know, he wasn't the main star of the movie.
Yeah, and he's not like the Hulk used to be sort of like the big gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was his role.
Yeah.
And he wasn't that in this movie.
That's true. Who you want to do next?
I feel like the logical next step is Cap. Or
Okay.
Iron Man.
Wait a sec. So we're left with Hawkeye, Black Widow, Hulk, Thor. Yeah, I guess those are the two left, right?
Those are two left. Oh my god.
In theory, we could also do Thanos and Nebula and
Well, no.
yeah,
let's,
and Rocket.
let's stick to this. Let's
stick to the
this.
core. Okay, sure.
So Captain America.
Let's do Captain. Let's talk about Captain America. Let's do Captain America is strange, but yeah,
I would.
the ass of America.
So
Anyways,
so
sure.
Captain America in the previous movie loses his best friend, the guy he broke up the Avengers for.
Yes.
He loses Bucky, his new friend in the modern age. And who else? Goddamn. There's no more shield for him to back up to. Because he destroyed that.
Yeah.
And what you find is just a guy. And you start the movie with him leading like a
Self-help group.
self-help group, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. It shows how human these characters are, where apparently if you're a dude in the New York area who's suffering some stuff because of the snap, you go to this thing and Captain America's there consoling you, and he's really human about it. He's
Yeah.
like, hey, I've lost people too, but it's up to us now.
He's the type of guy who hasn't really changed, right?
And that's supposed to be what Captain America is. He's
The man of
a
the time.
nugget of old time values preserved into the current.
Well, the best parts of the old time values. The
Yeah.
best part, with
The
all
best
the
part, the
racism
best
and sexism and stuff. Although in the comics he does
Yeah.
comment on how women dress and stuff. He does have a he's
Yo,
from a different time.
Whatever. But that's his role here.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think it shows pretty clearly that he's the one with the hardest time letting go of this shit. Right?
That's true.
He was the
does.
one with the most to sort of the biggest cross to bear in all of this, because he hung it over his head that he had somehow failed people, even if he's not necessarily even the strongest Avenger.
That's true. He doesn't let anything go.
Yeah, man.
And I think the worst part about him is he always puts others over himself.
Yeah, that's his thing.
Yeah.
And it ends with him choosing himself over others.
Yeah, which I thought was a beautiful moment, you
That
know.
was great.
And the man of the time, the way they did him justice in MCU was fantastic. He didn't change, he never really compromised. And it just kind of shows you that some things are timeless. Some
Yeah.
values are timeless.
Yeah, man. No. Okay, this is how I see it.
Sure.
Every other character in Marvel is either a man versus world, a man versus self, or a man versus other type of thing. I have a direct conflict, or I have a direct antagonist, or there's something about myself that I need to change.
Sure.
Captain America is a one true man against nature or world type of character, where he doesn't need to change. It's everybody else who's wrong, and he's trying to prove, and he's trying to stand up for what's right.
He even makes a joke about how he doesn't change by, when he had to face himself. He really and the guy
Yeah,
the guy he fought was like, I can do this all day, and Cap was like, oh, I know.
yeah, I know.
He even makes a quip about, oh man, everything I do is so cliched and like,
And they make the best. I don't think. Okay, so let's try to roll this back. God damn, this is so hard. So in Thor: The Dark World, they make a joke using Loki about Captain America,
sure.
right?
Sure.
they go back to that in this movie and roundabout it in a way where when he meets himself, Cap is like, I found Loki. And I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
They do everything with this guy. Up
Yeah.
to Hail Hydra.
Yeah. He did show some character growth. He wasn't no longer as straightforward.
Yeah, he understood that punching your way out isn't the best way to do things. He learned some lessons, but he retained that Captain America goodness. And
Yeah.
when it counted the most, he punched his way out just as hard.
Yeah. So, when do you think he became worthy of Mjolnir? I think he earned it.
I think, you know what?
Because, okay, that
Are you saying he
two-
wasn't worthy in Age of Ultron? Is that what you're saying?
we can't confirm.
Well, okay, what can you speculate? He moved it. Period. He moved it.
Nudged.
It
Yeah.
nudged. I think by nudging it, you're either worthy or you're not. There's not a little bit. We haven't seen a character nudge it
Yeah. Actually, I can see that. I
where
can see
he could move it a little bit and he's like, okay, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to make a big thing out of it, but I know that I can.
Yeah. It only made a big deal out of it when, when push came to shove.
When
and
push came
the
to
world
shove.
was literally ending.
And he was up. Yo, man, the best. Oh, and by the way, I called it. They finally said it in this movie. I said I'm not gonna know what to do once they say it, and
Yeah.
they fucking said it in this movie.
I know. I think
And it was so good. It was.
Cap stole the show.
You know what? It's Captain America's movie.
No. I think Iron Man. I would give a stronger argument for Iron Man because his arc. Well, he and Captain America's arcs end.
Oh shit! No,
Both of them
whose movie? I feel like okay. What was Captain America's goal at the start of the movie?
Well, it was to maintain society.
To
and
get
then,
things back because he was the most with the hung up, right?
I guess. Yeah.
And he achieved it. Iron Man's goal is to
It's the same. Actually,
same
okay.
thing, but to keep the family, right?
Okay, Iron Man's is something we have to talk about a little longer because he has all the daddy issues wrapped up.
Okay, so Captain America.
The Mjolnir scene, though.
Mjolnir
Holy
share
shit.
was
This
holy
is not
shit.
a proper podcast review if we don't talk about it. Everyone flipped the fuck out in the theater when he lifted Mjolnir and kicked the living shit out of Thanos.
Yeah, it. God, how is this guy still standing? This
Yeah.
guy. Oh my God!
Those 1940s steroids are really powerful.
So this guy gets his ass handed to him, his shield broken, and then decides, you know what? I'm just gonna casually lift up Mjolnir and use it
Yeah.
as if I've been doing this all my life.
Yeah.
And it's fucking amazing. And I don't think. How else do you describe that scene?
I love that. It's like they've built up the whole. They've built that up since the very beginning.
Yeah, man.
The idea that Captain America was worthy, and that Mjolnir was a weapon he would be able to wield. And when he called the lightning on Thanos, man,
All lightning.
Endgame was such a wild ride. Like I didn't think they could surprise us anymore, but I guess they saved all the best stuff for last. And he finally said Avengers Assemble, like you said.
Yeah, man.
Good Lord.
Like I listened to another review of Endgame, and then they said Infinity War is a better movie. Why? It starts with Thanos having one stone and seeking all of the stones, and by the end of it, I have all the stones and I snap.
Yeah.
It's a very clear A to B. But goddamn, if you told me where this story started and where it ends,
I disagree because okay, fine, maybe it's the best single movie, but Endgame treats the MCU like a series.
yeah, man.
Right? Because it's not the sequel to Infinity War. It's the end of the entire first three phases of Marvel. So I think we have to treat that a bit differently. You can't do the A plot, B plot structure
Yeah.
the same way.
Yeah.
They
Well,
did have 3 acts.
We'll
but,
get
you
to
know.
movie ranking. Captain America. What else does he do?
Well, besides facing himself, and Peggy.
Okay.
I think that when he went back to the past and saw her, he realized he wasn't over his feelings yet. That no matter how much he looked at her in his pendant, he let go of something that he's always truly wanted. And I think that what he learned from Tony was that it's okay to want something.
And it's okay to choose yourself. But up till this point, he didn't have that chance. Because, like, I mean, he's never had time travel. Up till this point, it was always, it's gone, it's in the past, I have to move on and do something else with my life. But the moment the option came up to him that, oh shit, I can go back in time and get back together with Peggy,
Yeah.
he took it.
Yep. And I think
And then he ends the movie, I'm not saying a frail, but an old man, and passes off the torch, or rather, the shield, to Falcon.
Actually, it ended with with him dancing with Peg, finally getting that dance. Like, that payoff is so ridiculous because it's more than 10 years, like 9 years in the making.
Yeah, that was great. Like, hey, I made that with your niece.
Oh, yeah, it was really sad. Oh, there's also a fan theory, by the way. Remember in Avengers 1?
Okay.
When Loki attacked Germany, there was an
That
old
old
guy
guy
who stood up to him, was like, in my time, there were always people like you.
Yeah.
There's a theory that was Steve Rogers in the past.
Whoa.
There's a fan theory that was Steve Rogers. And that Steve Rogers is always in the background somewhere.
What I've heard is, there are two Steve Rogers now. One of them is just Peggy's husband.
Yeah.
They never show him, right? They say Captain America rescued him in World War II, right?
Yeah.
And the graying guy carrying the casket is him.
Wow.
No,
It's so
that's-
crazy to think that they snuck all that.
I'm not sure if that. I don't know how much credit
you have to give
I
them.
give to that,
Yeah.
but whatever. If it fits and it sounds good, but that would make it such that he had to be okay with everything that was going on, right, and not step in at any time.
I think they ended his arc beautifully.
They ended his arc beautifully, but back in the Captain Marvel review, we talked about who would be the next Captain America, who would lead the Avengers.
It's Falcon, apparently.
Falcon, apparently. How do you feel about that?
Well, they didn't develop him that much.
They haven't.
He doesn't have super soldier serum.
Do you think, this is like just another matter, do you think Anthony Mackie is capable of carrying his own movie?
No, they're doing a series.
No,
It's
I know they're
Winter
doing a
Soldier.
series, but I'm asking if he can carry. I mean, it's gonna be weird for them to try to do the series, then have another movie where he's now Captain America. They're gonna have to do a movie eventually.
He falls into the Robin issue where it's like, oh man, I'm just trying to be Batman. Like, it's kind of like that. I hope he does well. I just don't see an arc for him right now. Other than, this is Steve Rogers' shadow, watch me fly out of it. That's pretty much what I see so far. Sorry.
You know what? Fair. I thought it was really timely.
Okay.
Where I feel like the Captain America movies have sort of been always sort of pointed at sort of America-based social issues.
Okay.
That's just me. Particularly Winter Soldier and then Civil War. Civil War being this like analogous to how bipartisanship leads to not a lot of benefits for people being governed. Anyway, that's something else entirely.
Yeah.
That's my take on the Captain America movies.
Yeah,
As
actually,
a commentary, social commentary.
I agree.
So having I don't want to say black, but a black Captain America leads you to other avenues where you can keep making social commentary Captain America movies.
That's true. I always like the idea of people being their own heroes rather than the whole passing the torch thing. At least for me, like, I actually don't see a lot of Captain America and Falcon.
It's going to be a very played up scene. I could see the plot being very similar to like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. Okay. That's Captain America. We can go to the big kahuna now.
So MCU's poster boy has, for the past 10 years, started and ended with
Oh, man.
Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr.
Iron Man.
is he is analogous with that guy now. It's
Yeah,
impossible to disassociate the two of them. He was born to play that role.
Possibly the best casting in any cinematic
Yep.
comic book movie ever.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. And he started all of this. And he knows, dude. He knows.
Yeah.
So where does... Oh my god. Tony Stark starts Endgame stuck in a ship with Nebula.
Yeah.
Near death.
Yeah.
Eating a lot of humble pie because Thanos wiped the floor with his ass.
Yep.
Comes back home with the help of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And the first thing Captain America asks him is, where did Thanos go and how do we beat him? And he's not having any of it.
Yeah.
He is done.
Yep.
I at that point, it's just like, here, you put the suit on. You fight him.
Yeah. I think he's PTSD'd out from all the other stuff that's happened.
Yeah, I feel like Iron Man, even if for the most part, you could play Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2 as like him, Tony as thrill seeker. After Avengers, he's definitely that guy who has his eye to the sky. We're gonna get attacked someday. And Infinity War was the culmination of that, where he says, you have been in my head for like 10 years now. I've thought nothing but you.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And when he finally meets it, after all of the preparation, and Iron Man is all about the prep,
Yeah.
he came short.
He needed something, a little more of a push to beat it. Iron Man and Thanos has always been Thanos' mirror to me, so I love the dichotomy. They're both father figures who are futurists. They're both hyper-logical people who just developed differently. And I really see Iron Man like... I think Iron Man's story arc has always been... Movie 1, I learned to care about people. Movie 2 is... I need to learn how to let people grow on their own rather than trying to control everything.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, that definitely struck a chord in Civil War, too.
I think, in general, his usual plot is, I tried to control things because if things were up to me, things would be better.
There's an arrogance to it, right?
Right. There's an inherent pride to his intelligence. And he has to be.
Yeah. But he's been wrong a lot of the time.
And when he learns that, he gets better. Analogous through the upgrades in his armor.
Yeah. But eventually he tosses all that aside, gets a family, settles down with Pepper.
Yeah.
And the kid Morgan.
And, oh my god, Morgan. Yo, if you're listening to this and you're bullying Morgan, there's rumors that kid is being bullied.
Why?
I know!
Why would you bully a kid?
Get the fuck away! No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, unless this kid was a bully or something herself, but I doubt that's crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Anyway, so...
Okay.
Iron Man, 5 years after the snap, is married to Pepper Potts. Did he start Infinity War married? No, they were engaged. So sometime in the 5 years, they got married, had a family, had some kids, and... A kid, and they live in a lodge, like he said. Like Hawkeye. Simple life.
Yeah. And in a way, Tony went all the way back to where he started, where I don't care about anyone else. You know, he stopped caring about the world outside his immediate sphere.
Yeah, no, he just realized that he doesn't know better and he should just sort of just take care of his own, right?
Well, yeah, he did have a lot of PTSD and that was established. And I think that he tries to redeem himself in this case by being the father to his kid that he never had.
Yeah.
In the form of his own dad, who had been a dick to him.
And speaking of father figures, but he had become a father figure to Peter.
Yes.
And this is what pulls him to action, because that father figure-ness, he couldn't let go of that relationship. He couldn't let go that the world was without Peter Parker.
Yeah, and I actually think that him passing the torch to Peter at the end is more organic than, Captain America passing the shield on to Falcon.
Yeah, but You know what? We've seen Falcon in more movies, but I like Peter Parker more. I don't know why.
Because Tom Holland was born to play that role. He's the best Peter Parker we've had. The other two, Andrew Garfield and
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire, they just represented Spider-Man in a nutshell, but
Yeah.
not in respect to the rest of the universe.
You know what? Yeah. And oh my god. Okay, back to Tony. This guy solves time travel.
Like that. With like a snap.
Snap of a finger.
Yep.
Solves time travel. He drops an SHIT. Like, how many times do they swear in this movie? But like, let's get this son of a bitch. And he's just like, holy shit, when he solved time travel. And then Morgan's behind him, and she's like, shit.
And it's adorable.
It's so adorable.
And I think it's great how it kind of, in a weird sort of way, it shows how he's shaping the next generation. It's it's a weird little nitpick parallel that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do it,
It's-
and he did it. It was so insane what they did with this character, and so heart wrenching.
Yeah, so in the end, it came down, when the chips were down, it came down to him and Cap to sort of salvage a situation.
What made you say that?
Yeah, when they couldn't retrieve the Tesseract, bro.
Ah, yeah, that's true. And they had to go back in time, further back in time.
Like all of those issues,
Yeah.
they were just like, do you trust me? Yes. Oh my god, that moment. So amazing.
Yeah, and this couldn't have been done in one movie. They took them so many movies to build up how awesome all those moments were.
Yeah. And, oh, fudge. So they get the stones. Tony Stark is the one guy who could, apparently, he could make a gauntlet all this time.
Well, he probably had to think about it, but okay, since we talk about him going to the past, I think him confronting his dad was one of the craziest things too.
So they mess up getting the Tesseract, and they had to go back more in time to a time when they knew the Tesseract would be there and when they could find more pim particles,
Yep.
which would be the shield base that Captain America went to in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you have you know it, when he went there, the other scientist working on that area was Howard Stark, his dad.
Yep. And it kind of makes sense because Howard Stark made the shield and he had always been working with the military.
Uh-huh.
So it really makes you think, doesn't it?
It showed in very clear terms how far Tony Stark has come as a character.
And so far as to giving his own dad parental advice.
Yeah, man, and holy and his dad has been this huge factor. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, this huge influence in his life. And to go back to it with the same actor who's been Howard Stark this whole time.
Yeah.
By the way, so many actors come back in this movie.
Yeah.
So many for a little bit, and you're like, whoa. So he comes back, comes to Howard Stark, and he sort of meets his dad in a different light, where he used to describe his dad as distant, unfeeling, calculating. But when you meet him, he's actually, really caring for a soon-to-be Tony Stark.
He just didn't know how to do it. He didn't know how to treat his own kid.
Yeah, man.
And I think Tony, after just gaining his own kid now, realized where his dad was.
Yeah.
And there's a certain validation in confronting that, which I found very interesting.
Yeah, and letting things be is sort of like Tony's entire lesson in like the MCU. So that one time he's jumping in to get Peter back, oh my god. It ends in the most spectacular fashion.
He's Iron Man.
He's Iron Man. Okay, so they retrieve the stones, they snap and bring everyone back, but before everybody can sort of be happy la-di-da, Thanos finds his way to the present time.
Which is super contrived, but that's fine. I love it.
They had to do it.
Yeah.
They had to
How
find
did
a
you
way.
find all the pim particles to do it? Like, I don't know. Whatever. It was great.
Okay, so you're right, but we'll get to nitpicks. So they fight Thanos, and Thanos comes really close to winning. until I mean he has a gauntlet on.
Yeah.
Until Tony Stark comes up to him, gets all of the stones, and using his brand new suit that can make stuff on the fly, creates his own gauntlet, snaps his fingers, and gets Thanos and all of his minions out of the current timeline. We don't know where people go when they get snapped, but they're gone.
Yeah, and it ends up killing Tony.
It ends up killing Tony because, like, that in Infinity War, you get a glimpse of that where Thanos' hand is fucked up after he snaps.
Yeah.
In Endgame, he snaps a second time. It shows like up to his shoulders fucked up and almost unusable.
Who snaps the second time?
Thanos, when he destroys the stones. That's why.
That's not the second time. That was the. Oh, he uses stones. Okay, yeah.
That's why his like whole arm is fucked up.
Yeah. Which is what happened to the Hulk.
And then what happened to the Hulk? He snapped once. His arm got fucked up,
yeah,
but he lived. But he says, if anybody of you guys snap, it'll kill you.
True. I think Thor could have survived though.
I feel like he could. Honestly,
Probably.
I don't know why they didn't let him snap.
No, I mean it makes sense for the Hulk to do it, but
So
for his character arc. But...
So Iron Man had to snap, they will go away, and then you get this. I keep saying gut wrenching, but this is the scene. This is the culmination of this guy's storyline, and he says goodbye to the three most important characters to him. You start with Rhodey, and then you go to Peter Parker, and then you end with Pepper Potts.
Yeah, and Morgan.
Well, no
His
more.
kid.
Yeah, no, but she wasn't there. He didn't say goodbye.
Oh, well, he did. Hologram.
No,
No, that was touching as
that
hell,
was
though.
touching as shell. And he dies, and people, Doctor Strange watches by as he has the time stone. But that's not. That's getting nitpicky.
Yeah, well, okay. So,
So-
yeah, Tony Stark
Giving up.
is the representation of all three. He's sort of the character which the first three phases of Marvel have centered around.
Yeah,
And him dying is the end of an era.
definitely.
And he has had the most growth of all of them. Thor is cyclical. Captain America hasn't changed. The Hulk flips over. Black Widow is dead. Hawkeye is going to take a new progeny. But Tony Stark, he changed from, this super huge, asshole
Yeah.
to someone who is willing to lay down for everyone else.
It calls back to the original Avengers.
Yeah, when Captain America called him out and being a
Shithead and not being able to make the sacrifice play. And then I realized in every Avengers movie, he literally makes the sacrifice play.
That's true. But in Age of Ultron, he does cause the problem, though, so I don't know.
Yeah, but he was prepared to die to destroy the meteor. Him and
Yes.
Thor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even though nobody would believe that they were gonna die. But still, there.
Do you think what he did was right? Sorry, not what he did was right, but do you think it was okay for him to have done that when he had a kid to take care of? Because honestly, if I was Tony and I had a kid and I was married, I don't think I would go out to save the world
Well,
if it meant losing
at
my
least
kid.
he talked to Pepper about it. So he got consent, I guess. But we're going back to Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau and her kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're totally going back there. And I think what we got there was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would be as agreeable as Pepper either. Like, what if Nana went on something? Like, Nana is the person Toby is dating. So, like, what if Nana did something like that, right?
Yeah, it'd be rough.
Yeah, I wouldn't be cool with Camille going out to save the world.
But it was total acceptance of Pepper, of who Tony is, that she's like, you're not gonna let this go.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna be able to rest until you do something about this. And they don't expect anybody to die when they do these things. I mean, there's danger.
Except everyone, like 50% of the population died the last time they did it.
Right.
So they kind of are.
Yeah, but there's this weird, what am I trying to say? Like optimism. They're like, hopefully everything works out.
Yeah, but
So yeah.
so
anyway.
now she's widowed.
Come on, man. But like, yeah. So Iron Man gives up his life so that everybody else can live.
Yeah.
And damn, what a way to end the movie. we end with well, we don't end on this, but they have a funeral,
Yeah.
and I believe this is like there's two endings really, that and Captain America, because it's the end of both of their arcs.
And I think the post-credit sound bite was the sound of him hammering his Iron Man suit, right?
Yeah, from way back in Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
That
Where it
was
all began.
amazing.
And
He was-
yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he was the last. Like the credits is like them signing
Yeah.
the original. He was the last one. And it was amazing, dude. Big props.
Endgame was fantastic.
Endgame was fantastic. So those are how we see the characters progressing. It's a 10-year, what they used to call the biggest cinematic experiment, is now what we know to be a mega pop culture monster that's touched everything.
It's people who make movies from now on, who failed a shared universe, will definitely have to look at Marvel as a success story.
Yeah, man. And I gotta say, you know what's the first thing my dad said after leaving Endgame?
What?
He said, if I was DC, I'd quit right now. I'd quit making movies.
Oh man, DC that's a whole different bag of issues for us to be a whole different bucket of fish.
So, okay. So, let's go into
Rating.
let's go into wrap up.
Yeah,
How'd
yeah.
you feel about Endgame in total?
I didn't think they could surprise me after Infinity War, but they did, and it was fantastic. I felt so many things. I was able to stretch past the limits of credulity because of how I wanted all these payoffs to happen. And I criticized a lot of things about it, sure, but I loved it. And they did this. I think that the future is bright, and I can't wait to see Far From Home. I would give... Okay, before I give my rating, what did you think about Endgame?
Thanks for the setup.
Yeah.
So, Endgame is... I mean, okay. I just turned 25. So 10 years ago I was 15. Bro, I was 15. These things shaped my young adulthood, and I got to witness it. You know, people who... There has to be a perspective of the older generation who maybe cared about the comics, maybe didn't. There's definitely like those old nerds.
Yeah.
But people my age, we care about this shit now, just because of how important it is.
True.
And this is going to be our Star Wars. This is gonna be my dad telling me, "Wait, you gotta watch this. This is Star Wars. This is what you live for now."
And if we ever get kids and we let them watch it, we will make them wait a year between Infinity War and Endgame.
So you feel what I felt.
Yes, this needs to be an experience.
So, oh my god, it took a year in the making, and it was so worth it. The hype was so worth it. The movie I had in my head, they exceeded those expectations because they found a way to include things I didn't even know I wanted.
Yeah.
And when they did it, there wasn't any fat. There wasn't any minute or second here that I felt, yeah, you could cut that. No, I wanted every second of it. And if for some reason there's a director's cut with 20 more minutes, I'd watch it, I'd buy it too.
As a movie, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. But as a capstone to Marvel, 10 out of 10.
You know what? I'm gonna give this 10 out of 10. Only as a standalone. I'm never gonna judge this movie as a standalone movie. You can't.
Yeah.
They don't even introduce the characters. You don't take time. They assume you know who these guys are.
Yeah.
No time is taken to introduce these characters.
It is a series movie.
It is a series movie, and in that, it is so successful at what it sets out to do. They know exactly what you want, and they give it. No, not holding anything back. Where it goes from here is such a mystery, and I love it. It feels like, even though you say Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3, this is like one entire seasonal arc.
Yeah.
And Season 2, I'm equally as excited. I've heard some people say you could stop here and it would be fine, but there's so much more to cover, so many more characters that I feel like could be done justice. Now here's the thing. I've heard also
Yeah.
that the new champions of the MCU, let's say Captain Marvel, Black
Spider-Man.
Panther, Spider-Man. No, Spider-Man's like pretty cool. Ant-Man and the Wasp,
Sure.
Fudge, Doctor Strange, aren't carrying the kind of charisma that the original 6 did.
Let's see where it goes.
Let's see where it goes. No, they have so much to prove.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's still amazing. A lot of these movies, if you can just imagine, let's say Black Panther 2 or Doctor Strange 2 or the next Ant-Man movie is a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. They're still gonna have to show what life for them is like after Endgame. You have to allude to this movie for each movie moving forward.
True.
That's how crazy this is.
Mm-hmm.
And it took 22 movies and 10 years in the making, using a franchise, a comic book franchise. What is it now? About, I want to say 50 years old?
More than I bet.
More than I bet. I don't think it can be repeated in this decade. Sorry, century.
Here at Marvel, your turn to your move. We're just a couple nerds talking about this, but
It's the fight of the century. How do you top that?
Well, let's see. Let's see. If I heard that Far From Home has the craziest end credit scene. I don't know what it is yet, but I heard it's going to change the way MCU is going to be forever.
Oh man. Okay.
We're watching this movie.
We're watching this movie.
God damn it.
Okay, so what did we sort of just real quick? What can we expect moving forward? We were right, rather I was right. Thor is joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. So we know there's gonna be a next Guardians of the Galaxy, and they got the same guy to direct it, even though he was fired. They got him again.
Yeah. Yeah, James Gunn.
James Gunn.
Yeah.
Like some stuff happened, but he's coming back, and now he's gonna have Thor, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll be fat again?
I don't know. I don't know what to expect, honestly.
Yeah, man.
I just know that, I'm going to keep watching these movies.
They alluded to Wakanda being open. They don't show it, but Wakanda apparently after 5 years is still as big as ever. I don't think they have the dome anymore. I don't think they have the Invisidome. That's what they showed in the movie. And in the Wakanda bit, they alluded to some subterranean underwater seismic activity.
Name more. There's so much to cover, but let's talk about it when stuff gets announced. But there's a lot of possibilities.
There's so many.
They also suspect that Shuri might become the next Black Panther if Black Panther dies.
Yeah.
It's possible if T'Challa dies.
People have succession lines. It's like a whole organization.
Oh, man. Can't wait for X-Men and Fantastic Four, though.
Yeah. So, okay. So we feel great about the movie. I think everybody's watched it. We've covered where the characters came from, where they are now, what we're excited for in the future. I want to know your overall rating.
Of what?
The movie.
I gave it. It was 8 out of 10.
But it's a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 as a capstone.
Yeah. I don't know how you can top this, man. Because I gave it a 10 out of 10. How
Okay.
about in terms of MCU movie?
Oh. It's not up. It's okay. I
Top
can't
2?
call it a movie anymore. Oh, if it's if it's an 8 out of 10, then it can't be top 2.
Ah, okay.
It'd be top 6 probably
Ooh, okay. I get
as
it.
a movie.
Yeah.
But it needs to be there, and you can't it proves that you can't just watch a single MCU movie anymore.
Yeah, man. For me, okay, I've heard this thing asked in terms of Avengers movie. Avengers 1, Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame. Where is it? Because MCU movie is tough. There's a lot of good ones. But just between all of the major team up movies, where do you put this?
Third.
Yeah,
Yeah. You. Where do you put it?
same.
Who's what's your bottom for me is Age of Ultron.
But for me, it's Age of Ultron too.
That's not hard.
That's not hard.
Infinity War is my favorite.
Yeah, same. And then Avengers.
And then Avengers 1, then Endgame, and then
Oh man.
and then Age of.
Do you think? Do you wish you saw more Vision in the MCU?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
he's kind of been a flat character to me, and more of a. You ever heard of the term refrigerator wife?
Yeah.
To Wanda. That's kind of where I see him. I don't see him as a real I'm not invested in him.
Do you wish we saw more Quicksilver?
No. I'm okay with him dying.
Okay. I'm just going through classic Avengers characters.
I'm just not. I'm invested in the main characters right now. I'm not. I'm not even that invested in Ant-Man. I mean, it's great that he's there. I love Paul Rudd. It's just
His movies are great, and this one is almost. This movie might be a Captain America or Iron Man movie, but it's structured like an Iron Man. Like an Ant-Man movie.
What makes you say that?
It's a heist.
I guess time heist.
You know, they almost had a scene where they had what's his name? Something Pena, Michael Pena.
Narrate the whole thing.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, but oh man.
We're going an hour 25 minutes now. You think it's a good place to cap it off?
Okay, so overall, just an amazing movie experience. I feel like it won't be repeated in this century. I could rewatch it. How's rewatchability? Just real.
I only watched it once.
I don't think you have to watch it more than once.
People watch it 3 times. Like I know a bunch of people who watch it thrice or 4 times.
But there's no Avengers. Wait, oh man, no. But the finale though, I'd watch the finale over and over again, no problem.
That's fair.
The fight.
I wouldn't watch the build up all the way there.
Yeah, because it's like you gotta commit 3 hours. Would you like ever casually just watch this movie?
Trick question for me because I don't like rewatching movies.
Oh, then
I'm just not the type who would.
I love rewatching movies, so
okay.
It's okay. I feel like you have to watch Infinity War before though.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
So if you ever rewatch it, so it's like watching a 5-hour thing.
Yeah.
Damn. What a way to spend a night.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for now.
That's pretty much it for now, dude.
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Catch if you want to meet up with us, catch us this Saturday at Dudes vs. Cancer.
Please do.
At fully booked Bonifacio High Street.
Games,
4th floor.
Fun, giveaways, maybe.
Floor 4 forum. And that's it. Good night,
guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah.
And please suggest if there's any episodes or topics you want us to tackle.
Yep. Put them in the comment section as per usual. See
Okay,
ya.
bye.